Hello everyone, AB Mid here, and today we'll be talking about harassing. First of all, we'll be looking at a matchup I played, where I am playing the Syndra, and I'll show you where harassing comes into play. As you saw right there, Orianna walked up, she wanted to push the wave, which she actually should not do, but she did, so you punish that. As a Syndra, well actually at first, you look at what skill Orianna started, and this is different for every matchup, and you should know like the timers of cooldowns of every skill in mid, which comes with experience. So the longer you play mid, you'll look up champions you play against and you'll see the cooldowns of their spells. Here you see Orianna start E. You started off with an Q, you saw she used E, and then you know her E will be on cooldown for 9 seconds. So within the next 9 seconds, every bit of harass is effective harass, so harass to her HP pool. And usually you harass. The easiest way to harass is when you see your own minion gets low, the enemy is gonna go for that minion to last hit it. You walk up, you use your skill, and you auto attack her. But in some cases it's actually not good to auto attack, as auto attacking usually aggroes the minions. And this sometimes causes your own minions to swap aggro, which sometimes might actually fuck up your own CS, as in general you should not harass the enemy if you can take a CS on your own, as it's like this. One CS is 14 gold or 17-ish depending on what CS you're taking, and if you auto attack a champion once, that's about 50 HP. So if you're looking at how gold works, a potion gives under 50 HP for 35 gold, so you're doing like 12 gold worth of harassment, and then you actually do not get gold yourself, which is not worth it. So continuing with the video, as you can see, the Orianna keeps staying in my range, while in the early levels Syndra obviously has the early advantage. And she should be the one playing defensive, unless she saw me miss my Q. And so far I have not missed my Q yet, so she should just stay defensive. Which she does not, so she gets punished. As you can see right there, walk back because you can take the CS. Do not harass, yeah. And you see she takes the CS right there, drop a Q on her head. She's making that CS low, so she's like asking to get harassed right now. Also, as you can see at the level 1, I harassed her quite a bit, and she actually misplayed her level 1, and you should punish that. Usually if you're the one harassing and you did it like this, you junked half her HP, and you hit level 2 first, which usually means you also push the wave, you should go offensive on most, no, in every match almost, as you can see right here. In middle, you hit level 2 by killing one wave and one minion, unless you got a first blood, and that's how you grow your advantage. Like in this case, I harassed the Orianna to half HP, I hit level 2, you go offensive. This creep she's gonna miss if some other creeps were hitting the creep right here I'm standing on, and you'll still do more damage if you just walk up, because she cannot do anything back. Like she can auto attack me, but she started E, so in the end the trade will be in my favor. Right. Go source, yes. Go offensive. You don't even need to drop down your skill or land the auto attack. If you just walk up and she walks back, that's also harassment. It's not a harassment against her life, but it's harassment against her gold, as she did not get that CS, so she did not get that gold. Continuing. And then in the end, in mid lane, if you're harassing, your final goal will be to kill the opponent or to make her back, so you can actually push the wave into her tower or get the advantage that way. And by harassing when the enemy goes for CS, you're also denying CS. And as you can see right here, she walks offensive against a Syndra as Orianna at level 3. She has 2 points in Q, which I did not know. But usually if you go offensive as Orianna level 2, you put a point in your W. But continuing. She goes offensive against a level 3 Syndra. And you need to know when you're stronger than your lane opponent. And in this case, an Orianna by no means ever is stronger than a Syndra. Unless she dodges a Syndra's her skill, but then it's Syndra's own fault of failing her skill shots. As you can see right here, she failed to dodge. You go for the kill. Done. And right here, this is an Orianna versus Syndra matchup, but in other matchups, this skill could be really fatal for the Orianna, and in a lot of other matchups as well. Since if you're playing against a snowball-ish mid, say LeBlanc would be the most extreme case. She gets a kill on you, she gets the XP advantage on you, and you're not gonna have a fun time in mid. And that's why you should do this CS harass, because it's like guaranteed harass. Alright, going on with hard harassing. Alright, and we're back. Here we go. Alright, we will be looking here at the matchup between me and a Yasuo. And what I want to go over here is what I consider hard harassing. This is when you don't just poke with an auto attack skill or just one skill, but you actually go in harder than that and you go into the enemy minion wave. And this causes you to take minion aggro, and which causes the minion to do damage to you as well as the enemy champion. And the reason you do this is when you know that you have the damage advantage over the enemy champion. And that's why it's really important to know in what matchup you're stronger than opponent, and you need to also know when you're weaker than opponent, so you don't take hard harass. Like this case, I went for that minion and I missed my own auto attack and my W on Yasuo, which causes him to heavily outrate me, which he went for a hard harass, which caused me to miss all the CS which is coming up. There I missed one. I'm gonna miss that one as well, because if I walk up I would straight up die most likely, because he had 4 E stacks. And generally what you need to know about hard harass is what I showed in the first part of the video is what I consider poking or soft harass, if you may. And this Yasuo goes really offensive, which he should do in this matchup in the early levels. But you also need to know that when you go for the hard harass, you usually put yourself in a relatively dangerous position for jungle ganking. As you can see right here, he takes a CS, he walks up, he trinkets that bush, expecting the Lee Sin to start red, because junglers, well, Lee Sins in general start at red, but he did not keep track of where our Lee Sin started, so he trinkets the top side while he actually started blue. And he trinkets the left side, and he still goes offensive in the middle of the lane instead of standing right there, which in this case would not matter because he would still have to blow his flash, but in general you stick to the side where the ward is, or your ward is. And blowing flash like that and getting chunked is really huge. And that's because he went offensive without taking into consideration that it was actually around 3 minutes when the first gank is coming in. And this causes me to actually get the lane advantage back, which he actually got with that first trade. And as you can see, you just freeze and he will lose his minions. And that's what I consider hard harassing, is you go in really hard and you'll take damage as well as you deal damage. And There's two situations where you can go for hard harass. One is when you have the damage advantage, and two is when you have the pot advantage. The pot advantage is, say you start with a crystalline flask and the opponent starts with endurance ring, and he has two pots. So you can go in on the opponent and say you deal 100 damage and he deals 150 damage. He did 50% more damage than you, but in your inventory you have more HP than the opponent, as in the form of potions, as you have 3 crystalline flasks and 3 potions. And that's when you can actually go for trades which are not in your favor, and this causes you to need to play a little more defensive when you did the trade. But since you have the pot advantage, you will sustain back up, and at a certain time, if you keep trading like that, you will eventually get the upper hand in the lane, because you will out-sustain the opponent while he runs out of pots and you didn't. And that's also a form, well, a way to do hard harassing, like you go in the minion wave, but you need to be careful that minions are actually stronger than you think, as a caster minion does about 10 damage every auto attack. Let's call this an auto attack. So you need to be careful when you go into the minion wave. And yeah, and that concludes hard harassing.